How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Friday here on the show, normally Fun Friday. Maybe it'll be fun, but we still got a lot to talk about regarding the passing of Hulk Hogan. A lot of Hulk Hogan news today. And some other news as well. We're going to get into the news. And then afterwards, over the last several days, many of you have sent in emails about your memories of Hulk Hogan. So we're going to jump into some of those today and probably will jog our memory about a lot of different things. Filthy Tom is going to be joining us here today as well. And we will get into some news. There has been some news, and we do have to cover all the news, including the passing of Hulk Hogan. If you want more on Hulk Hogan's life and career, the new issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, somehow yesterday, Dave wrote a 15,000-word bio on the life and times of Hulk Hogan. I have not read it yet, but everyone is kind of raving about it. So if you want to read the whole story of his life, written in an afternoon by Dave. That is up there right now on the front page of WrestlingObserver.com. So, yes, as noted, Tom's going to join us after the break. If you want to text, it's 425-780-7566. I am F4WOnline at gmail.com. That's F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4WOnline, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. Hey, we don't have 15 shows going on at the same time this weekend, so good weekend for a personalized Cameo. They're only $10. And that's at 4W Online on Cameo. And at Bryan Alvarez on X and Blue Sky. Back in a moment to kick off the show, Wrestling Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
Happy birthday, dear Granny.
Happy birthday, Granny. Happy 95th birthday.
Thank you.
You got balloons behind you as well, Vinny. People can't really see them.
No.
They think it might just be your hump. But it's very festive
I
day
should not
today.
laugh at that. That's a horrible insult that you just gave.
Yeah,
me.
you laughed. It was a good one.
But it was funny.
Happy birthday!
Okay.
Happy birthday, Granny!
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, I don't even know what you just said. Okay, go.
Bye!
Bye, girls. Close the door, please. Rob Wanska, a top fan. That granny is one of a kind. If you cannot see that, you're blind. Whether she's knitting a quilt or giving Brian some guilt, she's the greatest old gal that you'll find.
Was that, who was that?
Producer
That was
Rob.
Rob.
Producer Rob?
Yeah.
Fine
like
job,
that.
Rob.
He has talent?
Thank you,
For him.
Rob.
Wow.
This is Mariah May versus Anna J. Anna has a problem. Her top seems to want to drop down. She has to keep pulling it up. Mariah pins Anna for the win. I think Anna just gave up due to the fact that her wardrobe was malfunctioning.
That's what happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, if they wore decent clothes, it'd be better.
Hmm.
Those T-straps are ridiculous.
Those what?
T-straps. Don't you know what a T-strap is?
No, I do not know what a T-strap
I don't think
is.
there's a T-strap in Brian's closet, Granny.
No.
I don't know.
T-strap. Oh, a thong? Why don't you say a thong?
A what?
Never mind. You don't know what a thong is?
No.
Why are we having this conversation?
What part of the body is it on?
Does it go on the
woman.
top or the bottom?
On your
Butt?
butt. Yep.
Okay.
Granny had to be very careful. So it's a thong.
Why are we having this conversation?
According to the Old Testament of the Bible, who is the father of both Isaac and Ishmael?
Job.
Abraham.
Wrong.
Oh, really?
Abraham.
I just...
Did you say that?
Yes, he
I'm so-
did.
Yeah, I
Oh, okay. You're right.
Yeah.
I just didn't hear you.
Well, Granny, I hope you had a happy birthday today.
I had to.
Hey, we got a special present for you. You are officially being inducted, yes, into the Hall of Awesome.
It's about time.
Yes. You know what that is, Granny?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want everybody to see this. How can I show it?
Clearly, Granny is really excited about being inducted into the Hall of Awesome. She's busy showing off her trophy.
Is that an old gray mare trophy?
It's got a horse on it for some reason. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler's joining us here today. How you feeling, Filthy? All's well?
Yeah, so far so good. Just getting some tests done before my impending hip replacement surgery, it seems.
Is this like weeks away?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
But more importantly, Brian, today, you don't know this, but today is the 10-year anniversary of the last time I won a UFC fight.
Really?
10 years ago today.
Wow.
I knocked Jean Valente's head clean off his body like he was Petey the Bird and Dumb and Dumber.
You know, that's actually kind of amazing because, we did the whole Hulk Hogan show yesterday, and somebody in the chat brought up that yesterday, the day that Hulk Hogan passed away, was 10 years to the day that tape came out. So that's 10 years to the day yesterday, and then today's 10 years to the day of your last UFC win. What's tomorrow going to be the 10-year anniversary of? Crazy. Well, I hope you get that surgery soon because, I'm old, Tom. I know a lot of old people. And for the most part, they get that new hip and they're like new lease on life. They feel great, like fast. And away they go. So hopefully that works out great. We got...
Yeah, hopefully they don't have to put up a black and white graphic every time I'm set to wrestle.
What?
You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, that's what New Japan does every time somebody's injured. They post the black and white lion mark with the
What?
sad news.
Golly.
They've been doing it all tournament
I
in the
guess
G1
so.
for Gabe Kidd. I was trying to give you a
Gabe
segue.
Kidd, by the way.
I was trying to give you a segue.
Well, Gabe Kidd was not at the top of my list of news items here.
Well, that's why I'm getting it out of the way early.
Okay, yeah, Gabe Kidd had to pull out of the G1. So, it sucks. I mean, he'd already forfeited 2 matches. Like, he wasn't winning. So, get that thing taken care of. Like, guys, if you're injured, just, get it taken care of. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Brian, they actually do... This year, they're doing a different playoff system where it's like the top 3 in each block. So even missing 2 matches, there was still pretty high probability he was going to make it.
I know, but I'm
into
talking
it.
in real life, he wasn't winning the G1 this year.
Okay.
Right. Was he your pick for the G1 winner this year?
No, but that's inconsequential when it comes to how wrestlers think. You think he was thinking, oh, man, I'm not winning this, so let me just pull out?
No, but I think if he was winning, he probably was going to do the whole tournament. Right? Isn't that how wrestlers think?
I mean, I don't know how bad the injury is.
Well, it's bad enough he had to pull out of the tournament, so... Okay, let's talk some news here, Tom. You want me to get him on the show?
No, I don't care. It was a simple,
what a
simply
jerk.
a segue.
I'm going to see if he wants to get on the show with you, Tom.
Yeah, has he hit me up about my hip? No, so why do I care?
Wow. There's probably a lot of people that haven't hit you up about your hip yet. Has Vinny?
What?
Exactly. All right, tonight on SmackDown, they are going to do something for Hulk Hogan. I mean, obviously they had to do something. But, as we talked about yesterday, his last WWE appearance was not... The crowd did not respond well to him at all. They booed him out of the building, and they didn't use him anymore. So, tonight they are going to do something. And there are going to be a bunch of legends, including Jimmy Hart, Sergeant Slaughter, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. I'm sure some of the wrestlers as well. They will be paying tribute to Hulk Hogan tonight on SmackDown. And I would expect this show does a gigantic number. So that's the plan. The lineup for the show thus far has Cody addressing the street fight with John Cena at SummerSlam. The Wyatt Six versus Andrade and Phoenix. Alexa Bliss versus Roxanne Perez. And Randy Orton, Jelly Roll, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre have all appeared. Have you seen the footage yet of Jelly Roll putting Logan Paul through that table? I guess you probably saw it on SmackDown last week.
I actually reported on it the next day with Lance here on
really?
this very show. Yeah,
God.
I watched the entire segment.
That looked like it sucked. Could you have had a worse table? I think the table was made of AI. It was just like air. Poor guy went right through it and almost splatted his brains out. So that sucked.
I don't know if I'd say that.
I would. So then we have Collision tomorrow. And we have got Dustin Rhodes defending the TNT title against Lee Moriarty. We have Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena versus Alex Windsor. And then I just want to say something quick about Dynamite. Maybe we can go back to it later. I'll give the good news first, so I'm not, unbalanced. That tag team match with FTR against Jet Speed was awesome. Just a fantastic match. Everyone should go out of their way to see it. It was one of the best matches in a long time. Just a great match. But the bad news is, it was in the AEW Tag Team Eliminator Tournament. And this Tony Khan, I'm pretty sure, just to irritate me, because we always complain, how can we have a tournament with no brackets? Where are the brackets? As God is my witness, this guy put brackets up on the screen that were empty. He put an empty bracket on the screen. Well, it wasn't completely empty. We had FTR and Jet Speed, but that's it. There was no other teams in this bracket.
To be determined occupies the spots. It's not empty.
No, it didn't even say TBD. Those were the only two teams. The rest was empty. It doesn't matter. The point is, the match ends, FTR wins, and Excalibur goes, let's go to the updated brackets. And they have moved FTR into the semifinals, and the rest of the bracket is still blank. I was simultaneously infuriated and so impossibly amused that this guy actually put a blank bracket on the screen to promote his tag team tournament.
Somebody had to get that order.
Well, of course.
Do that for their job. Like the graphics guy had to get that from above. He didn't just do that on his own. So that went through multiple people.
Well, or, Tony said, make me a bracket. And then all afternoon, the guy's like, well, who's in the tournament? Who's in the tournament? Who's in the tournament? And then, at the end of the day, he didn't get him, so he just put an empty... that could have happened for all I know. Now, that Wednesday was a day that Tony did the interview, and he basically explained, I don't promote in advance because I want to put out a bunch of stuff right before the show for Twitter engagement. Okay. Well,
I was baffled by that.
I wasn't. But Dynamite on Wednesday, with all the matches announced via Twitter engagement, coincidentally did a .14, which was the lowest number the show has done since March 5th. I mean, I continue to see no evidence whatsoever from any promotion in wrestling that putting your matches out at the last second on Twitter results in a lot of people watching the show. Because it certainly didn't happen this week, and it wasn't like they had super strong competition.
Now, Brian...
And then, hold on. I was thinking about this as well, Because, I mentioned the other day, I had a guy mad that we don't talk, we don't promote and talk about AEW enough. And I mentioned, well, what do you want me to talk about? Like, I have no lineup on Wednesday's show for Dynamite that evening. I have nothing to talk about. And then, it really hit me. I can't even talk about this tournament. We can't even fantasy book the tournament because there's nobody in it. So literally all I can do is say, well, the only team that I know that's in it is FTR, so I think they're winning. What more do you want me to say? We don't even have any other teams announced for the tournament. So we'll get to Tom after the break. He's got something to say. Observer Live.
Yeah.
We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
the world champion.
He
and
was.
in the movie, the
Well, yeah, but
storyline
that's a
is-
microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushy that cost $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance
And-
is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for
okay?
sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's played a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Can find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her
want
dance
her
in something
to stand
totally
out,
different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stabbing.
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably 500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we
He
should mention
unveils-
this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's, I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks at it and goes, "It doesn't work." It's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Yes, Tom. All right. Some guy in the chat goes, the rumor online is that one of the guns is injured, and so they couldn't fill out the bracket.
That's one team.
That's one guy. Are you kidding me? Golly. I think Tony Khan is like a nice guy. You know, he's like a guy, if he lived like next door and he wasn't like a promoter, I'd have him come over for pay-per-views or whatever. So don't think I'm not going to bust this guy's balls. You're telling me that one guy is hurt and so you couldn't put a bracket together? You couldn't list all of the other teams because one guy is hurt? What? They talked about it on Dynamite. That's why you can't put brackets together, because one guy is hurt? I'm glad I didn't hear that. If they actually said that on Dynamite, I am glad I didn't hear that. Okay. Let's go back to the Hulkster. We got more news. A Netflix docuseries focused on Hulk Hogan has reportedly been in the works since 2024. He died mid-documentary, it says here. Baloney, this would be, what's the guy's full name? I don't want to just call him Baloney. Matthew Baloney wrote that Hulk Hogan, who died today at 71, will be remembered for mainstreaming pro wrestling and bringing down Gawker. He also left behind an unfinished docuseries on his life. Yeah, those are the two things he'll be remembered for.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Netflix has quietly been working on since last year. Director Brian Storkel and producer Connor Schell's Words Plus Pictures have been collaborating with WWE and Hogan on the multi-part series, which will include more than 20 hours of new interviews with Hogan that were shot before his passing. No release date yet. So Hogan and WWE. Raises a lot of questions about how that thing would have turned out had he not passed away, how the thing's going to turn out now that he did pass away, how they will address a lot of things, not the least of which is that final appearance on the Netflix debut. So we'll see. We've also got WWE Untold, which we've been talking about. The one where you had a commercial with a completely fake segment to try to convince you that it's a behind-the-scenes look at WWE. That'll be July 29th. So, I mean, what I believe that WWE Untold. I may watch it. I don't know. But is it Unreal? How come it says Untold here? Anyway, the point is, this thing, it's going to be their version of what really goes on backstage. It's going to be like any reality show. It's not going to be... There will be things that were real that we get a shot of.
Actually, you know what, Brian? I heard you talking about this with somebody, and I have to say, it might have been Lance on this show. I have to say, there is a lot of reality in The Ultimate Fighter, if I remember. It's not like they're making stuff up.
Well, no.
And putting it on there. So when I heard you say that, I actually was
Well, you were
aback.
on a reality show.
But, yeah, I was on the reality show that won the Observer Award that year for Best Weekly Show.
Okay, well, let me put it this way, Tom. I cast too wide a net. I would say that there are probably some reality shows where there is a lot of reality in them. You were on one. I don't think we can say that about WWE reality shows. Total Bellas, Total Divas. Hogan Knows Best. I mean, we could go on and on. Real American Freestyle will continue on. They issued a statement today paying tribute to Hogan and said it intends to honor Hogan's legacy by moving forward. Today we lost our commissioner, we lost a friend. Sport of wrestling lost one of its great champions, not just in the ring, but in spirit. Hulk Hogan believed wrestling was more than just entertainment, saw it as a brotherhood, a proving ground, and a platform for greatness. That's what Real American Freestyle was built to be, a new stage for the toughest, most passionate athletes on earth, and Hulk Hogan was the center of it. From day one, he threw his weight behind the league. He met with athletes, he watched tape, shared stories, and showed up like only he could. Anyway, that's what they said.
Oh, oddly enough, much as often happens when artists pass away, this could be the best thing financially for Real American Freestyle.
Actually, it probably
in
is,
the long run.
because I think they just got a huge boost in ticket sales, actually.
I'm sure they're getting more publicity out of this than they were before. It's obviously an unfortunate way to get your name out there, but I mean, I don't know what you do if you're them in this case. Obviously, you continue on, you keep promoting it. They have Kurt Angle, as we've mentioned, on board as an announcer, so I could see an easy shift to him kind of being that face of that brand, and I think that would be a good fit. It would be a good idea, and it would get them some good in the good graces of the amateur wrestling community a little bit. But Brian, do you have the number of tickets?
Well, I got okay. So the latest update from WrestleTix was the day before Hogan passed away, and they were up 445. They're over 1,000 now. And so that's pretty much 100% the announcement that Kurt Angle was being involved. So they pretty much, they almost doubled their ticket sales in 7 days with the announcement of Kurt Angle. So we'll probably get an update on these next couple of days over the weekend. And I would guess that it'll probably get bumped up quite a bit. It's a 13,000 seat building. You know, they've set it up for 2,700. You know, they can always add more seats, obviously. But they've had a big bump from a little over 400 to a little over 1,000 with the Kurt Angle announcement. So
Well, they do have like a full card out now too. So
yeah. All right, one other note, then we'll do some of these Hulk Hogan emails. Jakara Jackson has signed with TNA Wrestling. I believe that, let's see here. She wrestling as Mara
Sade. She was the
Sade.
Mystery partner last night for the Inspiration.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I can't wait to get Lance on this show to talk about all this. This guy is exhausted from travel, I hear.
Well, at least he's in a beautiful location. God's country, Kingston, Rhode Island, right near the water. It is a beautiful place, so hopefully he's enjoying it there.
Is it really God's country?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Lots of trees, boats, the ocean's right there. It's a great place.
Hey, I got a couple of different notes. Some of them are kind of weird, actually. Do you guys remember the guy that went to tons of old WWF pay-per-views?
Are you talking about Randy Hogan?
Roddy Hogan. Might have been Randy, but I was told here Roddy Hogan. But anyway, the guy, you know that guy? Passed away a week ago. Got it confirmed. The Hulk Hogan super fan that was at all of those pay-per-view events dressed like Hogan. You know, he was at the Hogan-Yokozuna match, a bunch of others as well. Passed away last week. So that's kind of weird. All the best to his friends and family. And then
Eric Service, I believe.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
And I was also told in a completely unrelated note that everybody who was cut from WWE on the last round of cuts should be free next weekend. So there you go. All right. A lot of you sent in emails regarding Hulk Hogan, and we're going to read those. And that should remind us. Like yesterday on the show, we just started talking about Hogan. And you and I started remembering all sorts of Hogan-related stuff.
We never even got to the NWO.
Dude, there's so much. I mean, you could do years on Hulk Hogan stories and backstage. I mean, there's just so many. This person here says, my favorite Hulk Hogan memory, this is Jason, is watching the scrambled pay-per-view feed. Remember that? When you had to watch scrambled cable of the 96 Bash, and the moment he turned heel, the build for the main event had been so good, even the chance to listen to it was too good to pass up, even though my parents weren't going to let me get it on pay-per-view. Rightly so, I was 19. Just being able to witness in some way, shape, or form the most significant heel turn in modern wrestling history live as it happens makes it my favorite memory. Yeah, you know, the two biggest boom periods. Actually, I can't say that because, like, financially, we're in the biggest boom period of all time right now. But as far as, like, fan viewership and engagement, everything like that, I mean, you know, the 80s boom, which peaked with the 33 million that watched Hogan Andre 2 on the main event, and the boom of the 90s that peaked with, you know, WCW and WWF doing a combined 11 million viewers. Both of those periods kicked off because of Hulk Hogan. You know, he was the centerpiece of WWF when they went national, and like the entire 80s boom was on the back of Hulk Hogan. And, you know, in WCW, we talked about yesterday, they started to turn things around with a house show feud with Hogan and Savage.
Flair and Savage.
And then Hogan came in, and, you know, for a while, like, he did really good business on pay-per-view, but it wasn't like the company was, like, turning around. I guess
if you remember, they were running promos of Hogan, and he's driving through the streets of Georgia, and there's people like running after the car.
Oh yeah,
so excited that this guy is in the South now. It was unbelievable.
But the explosion was when he joined and they created the NWO, and that was the catalyst for the '90s, because they started destroying, you know, WWF, and then Vince had to make some changes, and then everything went straight up for both companies until one of them went straight down. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Well, we reviewed SmackDown yesterday, Tom, and you don't even get SmackDown. You're very... just, you know how you are.
Fine. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever.
That's your impression of
Yeah,
me?
that's my impression of you.
Wow.
So what are we, at least, I hope you at least watch a SmackDown main event.
I watched the entire show.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that still like your review, Tom.
I went on the board, and I saw like 2 people.
Yeah, do you go on Twitter?
Yeah, I do go on Twitter,
You read my emails?
I do go on
the
Twitter.
Text messages? I mean...
Do you go on Twitter? Because if you do,
unfortunately, yes.
You would have seen one of the greatest moments in world history.
In world history, really.
World history. Frank Tate walked away the victor of the fight, but he walked away an even bigger winner when it comes to life. This man completed what I would say is the best high five, the best dap up in the history of the galaxy. This man had his dog. And when I say dog,
barely a dog.
I mean D-O-G and D-A-W-G. This was a dog, baby. The dog was so proud. You can see just the elation in that dog's face. He threw that paw up. He let it hang for a few moments, and then he brought it down for the dap.
Tom's not even doing this justice. Everyone has seen a dog, like you put your hand out and the dog like puts his paw up to shake hands. This freaking dog goes, ah, hapa! Like, what? That was more than a high five. I don't even know what you would even term that. He dunked. He dunked that man.
30 million views on this clip. And that is about 1/10 of what it should have. So if you haven't seen it, you deserve it. Treat yourself. Go to my Twitter. Watch Frank Tate high five his dog.
No, he did not high five his dog.
The dog high fived him.
His dog high fived him. Yes. He just wanted like a, just boom. And this dog was like, no way, brother. You knock that man out. I'm going to give you a big time dunking high five from way up high. You go high five, up high, down low, too slow. This was an up high. Guy should have pulled his hand away.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
Man, too slow, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty good. Not going to lie. I liked it. So, this was just a comment that I saw on the YouTube chat. Shufflebox here. So, he says, based on Hogan's travel schedule, he lived to be 97.
That is true.
Because for those of you that don't remember, Hogan would like, I don't remember exactly, but it was like
400 days a year.
Well, yeah, he said he goes back and forth through time zones so often that he's actually on the road 400 days a year. That's what he said.
Well, it's when he was flying back and forth from Japan.
Sure. But, like, that's not how it works, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, thank you.
That's ridiculous. Now, granted, in the 80s, You know, you always see these wrestlers talking about how they were actually on the road like 320 days a year or whatever, and they weren't. But, you know, there was a period during the peak of the 80s that WWE did run like an A show, a B show, and I think a C show, and sometimes even like a D show, all on the same day. And then, like, if you add all those shows together over the course of 365 days, you probably, you know, they probably ran 400 shows or whatever. But, like, you didn't work all of them. Like, you didn't work the A, B, C, and D show. You worked the show you were on. So, you know, they worked significantly more dates than people today work. But, like, the idea that they were working 340 days a year or 400 days a year or whatever, you know, they weren't. But that's wrestling. This person here says, I met Hulk Hogan as a teenager in 2002. Story itself isn't that interesting, but his passing made me think of it, kind of put the experience in perspective. I met him at an autograph signing at a Walmart. Just met Lita a few months earlier. That was a really great experience. She took several minutes to talk to me and my dad. We did the Hardy's pose for a picture. She came off classy. Really great impression for a kid meeting a wrestler. So when I found out I got to meet Hogan, I was excited. I knew the line would be super long. Probably wouldn't get to talk to him as much as I was able to with Lita. But I remember spending the entire trip there just thinking of one question I could ask Hogan, since that was probably all he had time for. I stood in line for hours, put the book down, and started to talk, but he jumped in, mumbled, "How you doing, brother?" I figured he didn't hear me. I didn't think anything of the interruption. Started to answer. He noticed he wasn't even looking at me. He was looking for the next one. And away we go. So I can say I met Hulk Hogan, but the actual experience of meeting him was kind of eh. I did get to shake Jimmy Hart's hand, though, and we briefly spoke. Hogan was a flawed man, he says, but he was an icon. Would have been nice if I was able to at least say something to him instead of being made to feel like just another dollar sign. But the deal was, I paid for the book, I got his autograph, and I got to say I met Hulk Hogan. And there will certainly never be another Hulkster. You know, he actually came to, like, this bookstore around here, Third Place Books, okay? It's like just an independent little bookstore. And when I first heard, wait a second, Hulk Hogan is coming to Third Place Books for a book signing. So, like, I went, but, like, I didn't stand in line or meet him or anything like that. If I recall correctly, I hid and took pictures for, like, the website or something like that. But, yeah, he was there and just, you know, he had to run people through the line. But, I mean, the reality is he had 8 billion people in line. I mean, it probably took him hours and hours to just say, "How you doing, brother?" and sign books. So, there you go. All right, what else do we have here? This person says, Hulk Hogan was in London. My company were providing transport. He was very loving and kind and signed autographs for everybody. The cars were stopped in the street, and he got out and took photos with people. A charming superstar, which is rare. This person, Greg, I would say is a huge Hulkamaniac. He says he's being called an icon, a legend, yet none of that seems fitting. He transcended culture. He went beyond icon, beyond legend. Very few in history have ever been able to do that, especially with the longevity he was able to accomplish. He was my first idol, the first person I admired, looked up to, wanted to be, and the love and admiration will continue after his passing. Hulkamania will live forever. Craig, from the Bryan and Vinny show, in his yearbook, I believe, you could like write whatever you wanted, and he wrote, Hulkamania will live forever. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even Pearl Jam? Hulkamania
This,
got the
I think,
top
was
billing
well, this would have
over
been
Pearl Jam?
pre-Pearl Jam. This would have been pre-Pearl Jam, I think. Or he wasn't as into it, but...
Oh, maybe he was, maybe he was just even bigger into Hogan's music career. I mean, Hogan was almost, the bassist for Metallica?
That's what he said.
Guns N' Roses?
Tom here says, as a child in 1982, I saw Rocky III at a drive-in. I watched Hogan steal the entire movie in a matter of minutes. His charisma was nuclear. I can't tell you a single other movie I saw to drive-in, but Hogan on that giant outdoor screen is burned into my brain forever. That's how I'm going to remember Hulk Hogan, the nuclear charisma, and not the radioactive decline. Steven here says, oh, man. Hey, Steven, I know. I will flat out say it's my fault. I will even go as far as to say I'm a terrible person. I have not sent out the prizes for the prediction show. Everyone get on me to do it this weekend, okay? I apologize. Hulk Hogan was an all-time great, no doubt. Very unlikely many of us would not be fans today if it were not for him. He wasn't a great wrestler by any means. Actually, he was early on. But he was a great worker. He worked the crowd better than almost anyone in the history of wrestling. Great look, charisma out the wazoo. A character as iconic as they come. He had 2 giant phases of his career. Individually would make anyone an all-time legend. One of my favorites growing up. The reason I still take my vitamins and say my prayers to this day. Rest in peace, Hulkster. That is from Steven. Ryan here says, regardless of how you feel about Hulk's last 15 years or so, it is a sad day for pro wrestling. I'm too young to really understand wrestling before Hulk, but us fans still benefit from his impact today. The business may not even exist in 2025 without Hulk Hogan's impact. I was part of a wrestling podcast for several years. One of my co-hosts cried like a baby when Hogan lost to Warrior at Mania. Those who weren't there simply wouldn't understand. Everybody with any ties to the industry needs to thank Hogan for our lives, for our love of this business. We can talk about his legacy later. That is from Ryan. I will say that I do believe that without Hogan, I can't guarantee that any of us are listening to this right now, watching this right now, you know.
I don't buy it.
Well, here, let me continue. Do I think there would be no wrestling without Hulk? No, absolutely not. There absolutely would still be Hulk. There would still be wrestling. And it's like, I mean, honestly, anybody, you could take anybody in this business, Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan, I mean, whoever, had they not existed, I mean, to me, there's still going to be wrestling. But, you know, Hogan and Vince took it national and were able to make it a giant thing on network television, and it just exploded from there. And, you know, there's no guarantee that anybody else would have done that. I mean, you know, it's kind of like with UFC. Like
Macho Man for a small time was wildly popular, but certainly not at the level of Hulk Hogan. Like, he was, people knew him because he was such a character and he was the Slim Jim guy and so over the top. But Hogan was on another level compared to everyone in wrestling. Like, when I say another level, I really mean like 10 levels above when it came to celebrity stardom.
Like, of course there would still be wrestling, but like, would we be watching wrestling on Netflix? Would wrestling have these giant cable deals? I mean, if you look at the demo, it's like, where do you think these people came from? They're all my age and older. Like, they all grew up with that 80s network boom. Like, it's like UFC, okay? Like, where would UFC be without the Fertittas and Dana White? Would there still be mixed martial arts? Well, of course. But would it be where it is now without them? Or would it be something that, you know, some obscure cable channel, hey, we got this wrestling that we show, you know, I think that wrestling and MMA, you know, without Hogan and Vince and without the Fertittas and Dana, I don't know if it would be where it is now, but it would still exist.
I would say Hoist Gracie, too.
Yeah.
Because if somebody else had won that first tournament, we'd be talking completely different now.
Because the thing is, this is not like roller derby, okay? You're on roller skates. You're going in circles, which, by the way, still exist at a very low level. But I don't envision a time in history where people aren't going to watch people either fight for real or pretend to fight for real. There will always, it's impossible to not, like, that will always exist.
It's the oldest sport we have.
Yes. The idea that there wouldn't be wrestling at all, or that there wouldn't be mixed martial arts at all, I don't buy that for a second. But I do believe very unlikely it would be at the level it is today without those people. This person here says, sending in my thoughts on Hulk, today is a day that will be remembered. He was an extremely divisive person, but one that is undeniably important to the history of wrestling. Not sure modern wrestling would be where it is today. With that said, I plan to honor today and play Celebrate by Earth, Wind, and Fire. That was from Marcelo.
What? Oh.
Yeah. This person here says, while there is a lot of bad that can certainly be said about Terry Bollea the man, fact remains Hulk Hogan, the character, is the Babe Ruth of modern-day wrestling. I'm sure there are facts and figures Dave could spout about Bruno, Bao, El Santo, and Oki. Fact remains Hulk Hogan was the biggest star in the era that launched the biggest pro wrestling company in the world to a national spotlight. On a day like today, I can't help but feel nostalgic. Saturday afternoons, watching rented Coliseum videos. Also, like most things from our childhoods, we'd probably all be happier if the good feelings were all we remembered about them. For today, at least, I will remember Hulk Hogan, how he made me feel when I was 11. And in that way, yes, Hulkamania will actually live forever.
Did he said Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb?
He said Babe Ruth. Timothy says, I will remember that time Hogan got booed out of the building for being a racist. Well, there were certainly...
As not only that, but it was as he was saying, I've had a ton of great tag partners in my life. Andre the Giant, the Macho Man, but none better than you people, the fans. Boo.
I mean, you could tell that he was not expecting that reaction. And they were in Inglewood, California, and they weren't letting him letting him get out unscathed. First time I actually saw Hulk Hogan on TV was when he came back to the WWE as part of the NWO, watching him beat up my favorite wrestler at the time, The Rock. They put The Rock in an ambulance, and Hogan drove a semi-truck or something right into the ambulance. That was one of those rare times when he came back where it was like, they weren't going to make him champ. But, like, those people decided he's the guy. And so they did actually shift plans, and they gave him a short run as champion. And that was entirely 100% a reaction to the fans when he came back after WCW went under. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Let's do this unnecessary censorship.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just your ass.
That was terrible. Horrible. They weren't the Heart Foundation. They weren't the British Bulldogs, okay? They're two geeks. And this celebration these guys did.
Oh.
I mean, they're like, Sean, give me brother. Yeah.
A place like that?
You two dorks. That's what you did. Why are you so excited?
Because they're awesome.
Okay. That was better than the first one.
It picked up at the end there.
Yes.
Unnecessary censorship.
He beat him, and 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 he beat him. I'm sweating.
Time to stop.
And he beat him.
Was this edited?
And then he beat him, and he
I don't
beat
think
him.
so.
I actually wore that shirt. It just says he beat him, he beat him, he beat him all the way down. Like,
All the way down, you say?
I dropped her off at camp, and the camp counselor just looks at me. She goes, he beat him and beat him. I was like, gag gift.
Brian, would you for me again this week? It's too hot to do much.
That's true. It is too hot to do much.
I guess I just better do it because it came up for me.
I'll wait.
It won't come up again. It's pretty short, so I'll just do it. Yeah. Now I gotta find it back.
Okay.
It isn't
Damn, I'm
coming
gonna
up.
kill you. How about you just it? Okay.
Ouch.
What else we got, Vinny? I hope the granny licks her finger to turn the page. Lick that finger. There'll be
Page
an
2.
unnecessary censorship coming up. Lick that Okay, let's see. Unnecessary censorship.
So Oro Ethan after the match and gets his ass just into the earth.
Vinny.
And Ethan is leaving, holding his all confident. And then Oro just comes back to life, and now he Ethan's ass.
Oro jumps him from behind.
Yep.
Then he beats his ass after cheap-shotting the guy. That was interesting. That's quite unnecessary. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. All right, time for one more here. Lenny. Not that Lenny. Maybe it is, actually. He says, I managed a restaurant in Clearwater called Marlin Darlin. Hogan would come in once a week when in town. He never ate his meal warm. He always stood up and posed with fans, never complained, never acted better than anybody else. Rest in peace. So there's a lot of Hogan coverage. The chat here says that the New York Post had the death of Hulk Hogan on the cover here today. And, I mean, you know, the New York Times sent out the breaking news, and pretty much every media outlet in the world had lots of stories on Hulk Hogan yesterday. So, you know, the death of one of the biggest names in the history of the entire business of professional wrestling on the planet Earth. So, you know, a lot of coverage we had yesterday. And as noted, there is a brand new Observer with a Dave Meltzer bio of Hulk Hogan.
How many words did you say?
15,000 words. Okay. And I know he didn't do anything in the morning. And I know he didn't start working until at least noon. And he banged that whole thing out and got it out there. So check it out. I heard it's great. And yeah. That's a lot of writing about Hulk Hogan. Everyone's asking, like, doesn't he write these things in advance? Are you kidding me? No. He started with a blank sheet of paper, probably actual paper, and away he went. So head over there and check that out at WrestlingObserver.com. And we'll be back for subscribers later on this weekend. Sunday night for Observer Radio with Dave. I think Dave and Garrett have got a show today, which includes a long interview with Mark Briscoe. And that fellow's got a lot to say. And Vinny and I and Craig will be up on Sunday talking Collision and SmackDown. And then we'll be back this Monday as well for Wrestling Observer Live. So thanks, Tom, as always. Best of luck with everything. Thank you, listeners. Our friends on YouTube and Twitch. We'll talk to you next time. And Sports Byline, of course, Wrestling Observer Live.